Listen gently, and do not rush past this moment. This message did not arrive by coincidence. There is a quiet reason you are here, and it has been forming around you longer than you realize. Today is not about noise, fear, or pressure. It is about reassurance. A soft but powerful reminder sent through faith, through angels, through a presence that has been watching you stand when you felt like falling. There are moments in life when nothing looks wrong on the outside, yet something feels unfinished inside. You smile, you continue, you fulfill your duties, but deep within, a question keeps returning. Am I being guided, or am I walking alone? This message exists because you are not alone. Even in the silence, especially in the silence, there are angels assigned to moments like this. Not dramatic moments, not loud miracles, but quiet turning points where the heart needs reassurance more than answers. You may have felt unusually reflective lately, thinking about your past choices, replaying conversations, wondering whether patience has truly been worth it. This is not weakness. This is awareness awakening. Gratitude is often misunderstood. People think it means pretending everything is perfect. But true gratitude begins when you acknowledge how far you have come without denying how heavy the journey was. And here is something few are told. When gratitude quietly forms in your heart, even without words, divine guidance responds immediately. You were protected from something you never saw. A path that looked right but would have cost you peace. A connection that felt promising but carried hidden weight. Angels do not always block doors loudly. Sometimes they simply delay you until clarity arrives. If you have been wondering why certain plans slowed down, why progress felt paused, understand this. You were not being denied. You were being aligned. Faith is not built when everything goes well. Faith is shaped in the waiting. In the moments when you choose trust without proof. Right now, guidance is surrounding you in subtle ways. Through thoughts that suddenly feel calmer. Through decisions that feel lighter than expected. Through a growing sense that you no longer need to force what is meant to flow. You are being strengthened, not hardened. Reassured, not tested. Prepared, not punished. There is a reason your heart has softened instead of closed. There is a reason you still hope. Even after disappointment, this tenderness is not accidental. It is protected. As you continue listening, you may feel something shift. Not excitement, not fear, but recognition. That feeling is trust returning to its rightful place. Stay here with this moment, because what comes next will connect gratitude with guidance in a way you may have never noticed before. Stay with this feeling a little longer. What you are sensing right now is not imagination. It is recognition. There is a truth few people hear at the right time. Divine guidance often becomes clearest when you finally stop demanding answers and begin listening to your inner calm. Something extraordinary has already shifted for you, not in the world outside, but within your awareness. And that is where lasting change always begins. You may not realize this yet, but the doubts that once felt loud are losing their authority. They no longer control your decisions the way they used to. This is not coincidence. This is alignment. Angels work gently, but their timing is precise. They do not rush you forward. They steady you until you can walk with confidence. Here is the surprising revelation few expect. The delays you once questioned were not obstacles. They were shields. You were being spared emotional exhaustion. You were being redirected from paths that demanded constant struggle instead of quiet growth. And now, slowly, clarity is replacing confusion. Trust does not arrive as a sudden surge of belief. It grows like a soft light, bright enough to guide, gentle enough not to overwhelm. You may have noticed moments where gratitude rises unexpectedly. Not because everything is perfect, but because something inside you knows you are supported. This awareness is sacred. If this message resonates with you, take a moment to share it with someone who may need reassurance today. Your simple act could be part of someone else's guidance. And if you feel moved, leave a comment expressing what gratitude means to you right now. Your words may help another heart feel less alone. This space exists so that faith can be shared, strengthened, and remembered. If you wish to stay connected to messages like this, subscribe and allow this calm guidance to return whenever you need it. As you continue listening, understand this. You are not waiting for guidance. You are already within it. The reassurance you seek is unfolding quietly, step by step. And what comes next will reveal how trust transforms into strength in ways you may not expect. There is something important unfolding right now, and it is easy to miss if you rush. So pause with this moment. Let it settle. What you are experiencing is not just reassurance. It is a quiet strengthening of your spirit. Many people believe guidance arrives only when life breaks down. But the rare truth is this. The most powerful guidance often comes when you are stable enough to receive it. You have reached a point where your heart no longer needs constant proof. You are learning to recognize peace as confirmation. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization. The reason certain worries are fading is because they have already served their purpose. They taught you awareness. Now they are being released. Angels do not remove every challenge. They remove what no longer helps you grow. You may notice your reactions changing. Things that once unsettled you now pass without control over your emotions. This is not numbness. This is maturity guided by faith. Gratitude is deepening inside you, even when you do not name it. You are grateful not only for what arrived, but for what never did. For lessons that ended early. For situations that resolved quietly. This awareness is reshaping your path. Not dramatically, but effectively. Here is what may surprise you most. You are being prepared to receive clarity without fear. Some people receive answers and feel overwhelmed. You are receiving understanding and feeling steadier. That is divine balance. Your strength now comes from trust rather than effort. From alignment rather than resistance. From knowing when to pause rather than push. As you continue listening, something subtle will happen. Your thoughts will feel more organized. Your worries less urgent. Your faith more personal. This is not a message meant to impress you. It is meant to remind you. You are guided. You are protected. And the path ahead is being shaped with care. Stay present. Because what comes next will reveal how this inner strength begins to shape the choices you make without you even realizing it. Remain here. This part carries a quiet truth many people never notice until much later in life. Guidance does not always change your circumstances first. It changes your perception. And once perception shifts, everything else follows naturally. You may be realizing something now that once felt impossible. You no longer feel the need to explain yourself to everyone. You no longer feel the pressure to rush outcomes. This calm is not detachment. It is trust settling into place. Here is the shocking realization few expect. When you stop chasing certainty, certainty begins following you. Angels work most clearly when the heart is calm enough to hear subtle direction. That calm you feel is not emptiness. It is space being created for wisdom. You are learning when to act and when to wait without fear. You are learning that not every silence means something is wrong. Sometimes silence means things are aligning beyond your view. Gratitude is now shaping your decisions quietly. You choose differently. You speak differently. You value peace over proving a point. This shift is powerful. If this message has spoken to you, share it with someone who may be searching for reassurance today. A single share can gently guide another heart back to trust. If these words resonate, leave a comment describing what trust feels like in your life right now. Your reflection may be exactly what someone else needs to read. And if you wish to continue receiving messages that calm, strengthen, and reconnect you with faith, subscribe and stay close to this space of quiet guidance. Remember this: you are not becoming someone new. You are returning to who you were meant to be. Your path ahead does not require force. It requires presence. And that presence is already growing within you. Stay with this awareness, because what unfolds next in your life will feel steadier, clearer, and more guided than ever before. There is a quiet turning point happening now, and it is more important than it appears. This is the moment where reassurance becomes direction. You may notice that your heart no longer feels pulled in too many directions. Choices feel simpler, not easier, but clearer. This is the rare shift most people never recognize while it is happening. When guidance becomes internal, life stops feeling chaotic. Here is the surprising truth meant for you today. You are being guided more by peace than by pressure, and that is how you know it is genuine. Angels do not create urgency in the soul. They create steadiness. If something is meant for you, it will not demand exhaustion to arrive. It will meet you with calm certainty. You may have felt moments recently where you suddenly knew what not to do, what not to pursue, what no longer deserves your energy. This clarity is a gift. Gratitude has quietly sharpened your intuition. Because when the heart appreciates what it has survived, it learns to protect its future. There is strength forming in your stillness. Not loud strength, not visible strength, but the kind that keeps you grounded when others panic. This is how divine guidance prepares you, by teaching you to trust your inner calm over outer noise. What lies ahead for you does not require fear to motivate it. It requires faith to recognize it. You are stepping into a season where alignment feels natural, where trust feels familiar, where gratitude is no longer something you practice, but something you live. Hold on to this awareness, because the path unfolding now will ask you to listen more than react, and trust more than question. And you are ready for that. Stay present. The reassurance you feel now is not temporary. It is the foundation for what comes next. This is where understanding deepens, and many people feel an unexpected sense of calm. Not because everything is resolved, but because something within you has settled. You are beginning to notice a powerful pattern. When you trust gently, life responds quietly. Here is a truth that often surprises people when they finally see it. The guidance meant for you has never been outside your reach. It has been waiting for your attention, not your effort. Angels do not shout instructions. They place clarity where confusion once lived. You may feel less drawn to conflict now, less interested in proving yourself, more focused on protecting your peace. This shift is not withdrawal. It is wisdom forming. Gratitude is no longer just appreciation. It has become discernment. You know what deserves your time and what does not. There is something else happening that few recognize. Your trust is creating momentum without struggle. Decisions that once felt heavy now feel obvious. Conversations feel more honest. Boundaries feel natural instead of forced. This is the strength divine guidance builds. A strength that does not need resistance to exist. What lies ahead for you will unfold without urgency, without chaos, without fear. You are being prepared to move forward with steadiness rather than doubt, with confidence rather than pressure. This calm you feel is not the end of growth. It is the beginning of alignment. Remain in this awareness, because the next steps in your journey will reflect the trust you have allowed to grow within you, and you will recognize them by how peaceful they feel. This is the moment where everything quietly comes together, not in a dramatic way, but in a deeply meaningful one. You may realize now that the reassurance you were seeking was never meant to come as a sign outside of you. It was meant to arrive as certainty within you. Here is the rare revelation few people ever pause long enough to notice. When you feel guided, you no longer chase direction. You recognize it. Your faith has matured into trust. Your gratitude has transformed into confidence. And your awareness has become your compass. Angels have been walking beside you through moments you thought you handled alone. They did not remove the weight. They strengthened your ability to carry it without losing yourself. This is why you feel steadier now. Why your thoughts feel clearer. Why your heart feels less guarded and more assured. There is no rush ahead of you. What is meant for you will meet you at the right moment, without resistance. You are entering a season where divine guidance feels natural, where faith feels lived rather than questioned, where gratitude shapes every step. Remember this feeling, this quiet confidence, this grounded trust. It is not temporary. It is the foundation you will return to whenever life feels uncertain. You are not being led away from who you are. You are being led deeper into alignment with it. Stay connected to this awareness, because every choice you make from here will reflect the strength, trust, and guidance that have been growing within you all along. Stay with this stillness. This part is quieter, but it is powerful. There is a reason you feel less shaken by uncertainty now. You have crossed an invisible line where fear no longer decides for you. Here is the once in a lifetime realization many never hear clearly. When guidance becomes steady, life stops testing your endurance and starts revealing your direction. You are no longer asking for signs every moment. You are sensing alignment instead. That is growth. What once felt confusing now feels unfinished rather than wrong. And that difference matters. You are learning to wait without anxiety, to move without rushing, to trust without forcing belief. This is not passive. This is strength refined. Angels do their most precise work here, in the calm space where your heart is open but grounded, where you listen without fear of what you might hear. You may notice your intuition speaking more clearly now, not loudly, not urgently, but consistently. Gratitude has anchored you. Trust has steadied you. Guidance is now something you live inside, not search for outside. This is why peace feels familiar now. Why reassurance no longer needs words. Why faith feels like a quiet knowing rather than a struggle. You are exactly where you need to be, not ahead, not behind. And as this awareness settles deeper, the next phase of your journey will feel less like effort and more like recognition. Hold this feeling, because it will return to you whenever you pause and listen. This is where awareness turns into quiet confidence. Not the kind that announces itself, but the kind that steadies every step you take. You may feel something unusual now, a sense that you no longer need to be convinced. You simply know. Here is the surprising truth many overlook. The moment you stop fearing the unknown begins to feel guided. You are not standing at the edge of uncertainty. You are standing inside trust. Angels have not been leading you away from questions. They have been teaching you how to live without needing every answer. This is a rare strength, and it is growing within you naturally. You may notice that patience no longer feels heavy. Waiting no longer feels empty, because you trust what is forming beneath the surface. Gratitude has become your anchor. It keeps you steady when outcomes are not visible yet. You are no longer measuring progress by speed. You are recognizing progress by peace. This is divine recalibration, where your inner world aligns before the outer world responds. Nothing meaningful in your life is being rushed. Nothing meant for you is being lost. And here is the once in a lifetime reminder meant for you today. What is guided will arrive without strain. Stay present with this understanding, because the clarity you feel now will continue shaping your choices quietly, wisely, and with care. You are not waiting for reassurance anymore. You are living inside it. This is the closing calm, where everything finally settles without force. Not an ending, but a deep sense of arrival. You may notice that nothing needs to be added to this moment. No explanation, no reassurance, no urgency. That itself is the sign. Here is the final revelation many never hear clearly. When faith becomes quiet, it becomes unshakable. You are no longer reacting to life. You are responding with clarity. The guidance you once hoped for has already woven itself into your awareness, into how you think, into how you choose, into how you trust yourself. Angels do not leave once understanding arrives. They remain, silently reinforcing what you already know. You are not meant to strain forward from here. You are meant to walk steadily. Gratitude now flows without effort. Trust feels natural rather than practiced. And divine guidance feels like a familiar presence, not a distant idea. Nothing ahead of you requires fear. Nothing meaningful will arrive through pressure. You are aligned. You are supported. You are guided. And whenever the world feels loud again, you will remember this quiet certainty and return to it without struggle. This awareness stays with you. It does not fade. It becomes part of how you live. Remain in this calm. It is enough. There is still one layer of understanding unfolding, and it is gentle but profound. This part is not meant to excite you. It is meant to anchor you. You may notice now that you are less reactive to uncertainty. When questions arise, they no longer disturb your balance. They simply pass through your awareness. This is a rare shift. Here is the quiet, once in a lifetime realization. When trust becomes steady, life stops asking you to prove your faith. You are no longer bracing yourself for what might go wrong. You are allowing space for what can go right. This does not mean you expect perfection. It means you expect guidance. Angels work most deeply at this stage, not by changing events, but by strengthening your discernment. You sense when to move forward and when to pause without anxiety. Gratitude now lives in your perspective. You see lessons without resentment. You see pauses without frustration. You see progress even when it is quiet. This awareness protects you. You are becoming someone who trusts timing without needing control. Someone who listens before reacting. Someone who chooses peace without apology. Nothing has been taken from you. Nothing essential has been delayed. Everything meaningful is unfolding in order. Let this understanding stay with you. It will guide you in moments when life feels uncertain again. You are not searching anymore. You are grounded. And from this place, every next step will feel less like effort and more like recognition. This part arrives softly, but it carries completion. Not an ending, but a sealing of understanding. You may feel a sense of quiet wholeness now, as if nothing is missing, as if you do not need to search anymore. This is rare. Here is the final, once in a lifetime realization meant for you. When guidance is fully integrated, life no longer feels like a test. It feels like a conversation. You are not waiting for permission to trust. You are trusting naturally. Your heart has learned something important. Peace is not the absence of movement. It is the presence of alignment. Angels do not step away when clarity arrives. They remain as quiet assurance, woven into your awareness. Gratitude has completed its work within you. It has softened what needed healing, strengthened what needed confidence, and released what no longer belonged. You are now moving forward without resistance, listening without fear, choosing without doubt. Nothing ahead requires you to abandon yourself. Nothing meaningful will ask you to hurry. You have been guided to this stillness for a reason. From here, every step will feel intentional. Every pause will feel purposeful. Remember this calm. Return to it whenever the world feels loud. You are connected. You are steady. You are guided. And this awareness remains with you, long after these words fade. This moment is subtle, but it is powerful enough to change how you move forward from here. What you are feeling now is not emptiness. It is clarity without noise. Many people mistake this phase for stillness with no direction. But here is the shocking truth few ever realize. This is the phase where direction becomes effortless. You no longer feel pulled apart by choices. You feel guided toward what feels right without forcing logic to agree. This is where faith becomes lived experience. Not something you think about, something you rely on. You may notice that your inner voice feels calmer but firmer. It does not argue. It does not rush. It simply knows. Angels guide most clearly at this stage, not through signs that demand attention, but through alignment that feels natural. Gratitude has refined your awareness. You sense when something fits. You sense when it does not. And you no longer doubt that sensing. This is a rare strength. Here is the once-in-a-lifetime realization meant for you now. When trust is complete, fear loses its purpose. You are not protecting yourself anymore. You are allowing yourself. Nothing meaningful ahead of you requires tension. Nothing meant for you will ask you to betray your peace. Stay present with this feeling, because it will quietly guide your words, your choices, and your responses long after this moment passes. You are not searching for reassurance anymore. You are moving with it. And that changes everything. This is where the journey settles into something lasting. Not dramatic, not loud, but deeply reliable. You may notice that reassurance now arrives before worry has time to grow. That is not habit. That is guidance becoming instinct. Here is the surprising truth that changes everything. When trust becomes embodied, life stops interrupting you to teach lessons. You are no longer being corrected. You are being confirmed. Your heart recognizes what aligns without debate. Your mind follows with calm acceptance. This harmony is rare. Angels do not need to intervene loudly anymore. Your awareness has become the channel. Gratitude has done something profound within you. It has turned reflection into wisdom, experience into discernment, faith into quiet confidence. You move now with an inner steadiness that does not depend on circumstances. You remain centered even when outcomes are unclear. This is not detachment. It is grounded trust. You are no longer asking whether you are guided. You are acting as someone who knows they are. Nothing ahead requires force. Nothing meaningful requires fear. This phase of your life is not about proving strength. It is about living from it. Hold this awareness gently. It will continue guiding you without effort, without urgency, without doubt. You are exactly where alignment becomes natural. And from here, every step will feel quietly right. This is the stage where everything becomes simple. Not because life has fewer questions, but because your heart knows how to hold them. You may notice that you are no longer waiting for reassurance to move forward. You move forward because reassurance lives within you now. Here is the quiet revelation few ever recognize while it happens. When guidance becomes natural, life stops feeling heavy. You are not pushing through your days anymore. You are moving with them. Faith is no longer something you reach for in moments of uncertainty. It is something that steadies you before uncertainty arrives. Angels work effortlessly here. They do not need to redirect you. Your awareness already chooses alignment. Gratitude has reshaped your inner language. You speak to yourself with patience. You respond to situations with clarity instead of reaction. This is not something you learned overnight. It was formed through experience, reflection, and trust. You now understand something important. Peace is not fragile. It grows stronger the more you live from it. Nothing meant for you is slipping away. Nothing valuable is being missed. You are exactly where you need to be to recognize what truly matters. And from this place, your choices carry less fear and more intention. Stay grounded in this calm understanding. It will guide you through moments that once felt overwhelming. You are no longer searching for signs. You are living in alignment. And that is the quiet strength that carries you forward from here. This part is where steadiness becomes your quiet advantage. Not something you announce, something you rely on. You may notice that challenges no longer feel personal. They arrive, and you meet them without losing yourself. This is not indifference. It is grounded awareness. Here is the rare realization many never put into words. When guidance is trusted, resilience stops feeling like effort. You are no longer bracing for impact. You are responding with clarity. Faith has settled into your rhythm. It moves with you through ordinary moments, not just difficult ones. That is where its real strength lives. Angels support this phase gently. They reinforce what you already know instead of interrupting your path. Your inner sense has become reliable. Gratitude has refined your focus. You notice what deserves your attention and what does not. You protect your energy without guilt. This is how alignment shows itself. Life feels less scattered. Your thoughts feel more coherent. Your choices feel honest. Nothing ahead of you requires you to rush. Nothing meaningful will demand anxiety as proof. You are moving forward with an inner steadiness that adapts without breaking. That is rare. And it is earned. Hold this understanding close. It will guide you through moments that once felt uncertain and keep you centered without effort. You are not becoming stronger by force. You are becoming steady by trust. And that steadiness will continue to carry you forward, quietly and surely. There is a subtle shift happening now, and it changes how you experience everything that follows. Not suddenly, but permanently. You may notice that you no longer feel the need to hold yourself together. You already are. Here is the quiet, once in a lifetime realization meant for this moment. When guidance becomes integrated, life stops feeling unpredictable and starts feeling intentional. You are not guessing anymore. You are sensing. Your decisions feel less emotional and more aligned. Not cold, clear. This is where trust becomes lived wisdom. You are no longer asking whether you are supported. You are moving as someone who knows they are. Angels are closest during this phase, not because you need help, but because you are ready to walk with assurance. They do not pull you forward. They walk beside you. Gratitude has completed another quiet work inside you. It has taught you how to remain open without becoming vulnerable to confusion. How to care deeply without losing balance. This is strength without tension. Faith without strain. Guidance without fear. You may realize that even uncertainty no longer unsettles you. It simply reminds you to listen more closely. Nothing meaningful in your life is fragile now. It is supported by awareness, patience, and trust. Stay present in this understanding, because from here onward, your life does not unfold randomly. It unfolds deliberately, and you will recognize that guidance not by signs, but by how naturally each step fits. This is alignment continuing quietly. And it is real. This part carries a quiet power that stays with you long after the words pass. It is not dramatic. It is deeply steady. You may notice something different now. Life feels less like something you must manage, and more like something you are allowed to experience. Here is the rare realization many never pause long enough to feel. When trust is complete, control gently releases itself. You are no longer scanning the future for reassurance. You are meeting each moment with readiness. This does not mean uncertainty disappears. It means uncertainty no longer threatens your peace. Faith has settled into your posture, your tone, your presence. Others may feel it when they are around you, even if they cannot name it. Angels are closest in this phase because you are walking in awareness, not reaction. They are not correcting your steps. They are affirming them. Gratitude has become a quiet filter through which you see everything. You notice what is meaningful. You release what is draining. You choose clarity without guilt. This is the strength that does not need to prove itself, the confidence that does not need approval, the guidance that does not need signs. Nothing ahead of you requires you to abandon this calm. Nothing meaningful will ask you to become anxious to receive it. You are moving forward with a steadiness that adapts, listens, and responds wisely. That steadiness is not temporary. It is part of who you are now. Hold this awareness gently. Return to it whenever life feels loud. You are guided. You are aligned. And this quiet certainty continues with you, step by step. This moment completes something important within you. Not with intensity, but with certainty. You may sense that nothing needs to be fixed anymore. Nothing needs to be forced. Nothing needs to be questioned right now. Here is the final, once in a lifetime realization that brings everything together. When guidance becomes part of your identity, life stops asking you to search for it. You are no longer reacting to what happens. You are responding from alignment. Your faith has become practical. Your gratitude has become natural. Your trust has become steady. Angels are not distant at this stage. They are present in your clarity, your restraint, your patience. They work through your awareness. You understand now that peace is not something you reach after everything is resolved. It is something you carry while life unfolds. Nothing ahead requires you to hurry. Nothing meaningful will arrive through pressure or doubt. You are living from a place of inner certainty, and that certainty does not fade with circumstances. Remember this feeling. Return to it whenever you feel pulled in too many directions. You are connected. You are steady. You are guided. And this awareness remains with you, quietly shaping your path, long after this moment passes. This part is not louder than the others. It is deeper. You may feel something settle permanently now, as if a long inner conversation has finally reached understanding, not an answer, an agreement within yourself. Here is the quiet but powerful realization meant for this moment. When alignment becomes natural, life no longer feels like something to survive. It feels like something to move through with trust. You are no longer carrying unnecessary weight. Old expectations, old fears, old pressure to become something else. They have loosened their grip. Faith is no longer something you hold tightly. It is something that holds you. Angels are present here in a way that feels almost invisible, because nothing needs correcting. You are already listening, already responding, already aligned. Gratitude has become effortless now. Not because everything is perfect, but because you recognize meaning even in simplicity. You trust timing without anxiety. You respect pauses without resistance. You move forward without needing guarantees. This is a rare state of balance. Nothing meaningful in your life is fragile anymore. It is supported by awareness, patience, and quiet confidence. From here, even challenges will feel different. They will arrive without shaking your center. They will leave without taking your peace. Stay with this understanding. It will guide you in ways words cannot explain. You are not waiting for reassurance. You are living from it. And that quiet certainty continues with you, shaping every step ahead. This part invites you to notice something lasting, something that does not fade when the moment passes. It is the kind of understanding that stays quiet, yet shapes everything. You may sense now that your inner world feels spacious, not empty, open. Here is the rare realization meant for this stage. When guidance is trusted completely, life stops demanding constant attention and starts offering quiet cooperation. You are no longer negotiating with your doubts. They no longer decide the direction of your thoughts. Faith has become familiar, not dramatic, reliable. Angels are present here in the most subtle way. through steadiness, through restraint, through your ability to remain centered without effort. Gratitude has matured into perspective. You recognize what matters without needing contrast. You appreciate stability without fearing change. This is where trust becomes self-sustaining. You do not have to remind yourself to believe. Belief is already integrated. Nothing meaningful ahead of you will require tension. Nothing valuable will ask you to abandon your calm. You are moving forward now with an inner agreement between your heart and your awareness. They are no longer in conflict. Hold this presence gently. It will continue guiding you through decisions, conversations, and pauses without calling attention to itself. You are not searching anymore. You are settled. And from this place, every step ahead carries quiet confidence and steady direction. This part carries a quiet assurance that does not need repetition to be understood. It settles naturally, the way truth does when it is finally accepted. You may notice that you no longer feel divided between hope and realism. They have merged into something steadier. Here is the once in a lifetime realization meant for this moment. When trust becomes complete, life no longer feels uncertain, even when outcomes are unknown. You are no longer preparing yourself for disappointment. You are allowing space for unfolding. Faith now works beneath the surface of your thoughts. It guides how you pause, how you respond, how you choose silence or action. Angels remain present here without interruption. They do not redirect you. They support your natural alignment. Gratitude has become quiet intelligence. You sense when to engage. You sense when to step back. You sense what matters without explanation. This is not emotional distance. It is clarity without struggle. Nothing ahead requires you to abandon this calm awareness. Nothing meaningful will arrive through tension or fear. You are living from a place of internal agreement. Your heart and mind are no longer negotiating. Stay with this understanding. It will continue to guide you even when words are absent. You are not searching for meaning anymore. You are moving within it. And this steady certainty continues with you, quietly shaping every step forward. This part arrives like a gentle confirmation. Not new information, but deep recognition. You may feel that nothing inside you is arguing anymore. Your thoughts are quieter. Your heart is steady. Here is the rare realization meant for this moment. When guidance is fully trusted, effort stops being the source of progress. You are no longer trying to hold everything together. Things are holding together around you. Faith now moves through your daily life without ceremony. It shapes how you listen, how you wait, how you speak. Angels remain close here, not through signs, but through continuity. Nothing feels forced. Nothing feels out of place. Gratitude has become awareness in motion. You notice meaning without needing contrast. You value calm without fearing change. This is not the absence of challenge. It is the presence of stability. Nothing meaningful ahead of you will arrive suddenly and disrupt your balance. It will arrive in a way that fits. You are now living from inner permission rather than external validation. Your sense of direction is no longer borrowed. It is yours. Remain in this presence. It will continue guiding you through moments that once felt uncertain. You are not searching for reassurance anymore. You are grounded in it. And this grounded trust carries you forward, quietly and reliably. This part feels like a deep exhale. Not because something ended, but because something finally feels settled. You may notice that your inner space feels clean now. Less cluttered by expectations. Less weighed down by anticipation. Here is the once in a lifetime realization meant for this moment. When alignment is complete, life stops demanding explanations and starts offering flow. You are no longer asking why things happened the way they did. You are understanding that each step shaped your steadiness. Faith is no longer something you think about. It is something you move with. Quiet. Consistent. Angels remain present here as continuity, not intervention. Nothing needs to be redirected. Nothing needs to be corrected. Gratitude has become clarity. You see what matters without comparison. You release what drains you without guilt. This is not emotional distance. This is emotional balance. Nothing ahead of you requires you to abandon this calm. Nothing meaningful will arrive through confusion or force. You are moving forward with inner permission. You trust your pace. You trust your pauses. Stay with this awareness. It will guide you in moments when life feels uncertain again. You are not preparing for reassurance anymore. You are living inside it. And this quiet alignment continues to shape your path, gently and steadily.